Now, they found this trash can.
When you first see the
I
garbage
don't
on the
know.
roof, you're thinking, oh, that was kind of strange.
Right.
Pauses at the end of the driveway.
Helpful hunt, right?
February 2020. Kent, England. One morning, Natasha Mason and her family noticed that their trash bin is across the street. Curious to find out how it got there, they check their security camera. And what they see is beyond comprehension. Watch as their trash bin rolls forward about a foot at 3:40 a.m. Then it shoots in between the two cars and pauses at the end of the driveway before taking off again, this time all the way to the other side of the street. My name is Natasha and this is my video. So we noticed that the bin had moved when I woke up in the morning. She's like, where's my bin across the other side of the road? And we was like, that can't be our bin. So she went and got it, and my dad checked the CCTV and noticed that the bin had just managed to move in the morning. It was very weird. We couldn't quite figure out what had happened. What's even more bizarre is that the trash bin has only two wheels on the back, which prevents it from moving on its own. You have to sort of tilt it to move it. So it's sort of like, how did it manage to get down the other end of the driveway? We just don't know.
Now, I got a suggestion. What if there's like a remote control type thing under the trash can, right? Now, think about it. You know those little remote control cars, right? That seems to be what? Too good to be true, too good to be true, even for me.
Stimulated by any wind. But if not wind, then what? Natasha suspects it has something to do with the notoriously haunted landmark just down the road, the Lesnes Abbey ruins. I live in southeast London, Kent area, not too far from the Abbey ruins where this was taken. The ruins are known to be haunted. They say there's a young girl that wanders the ruins of the castle. As her heart was buried there, so she sort of stayed there. So maybe, who knows, might have been one of those, just having a look wandering around. The fact that there are ruins close by where a girl was left in there with her heart was buried in the ruins, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some connection to this place and the activity that's happening around this home. There is precedent for paranormal activity in this area. In the 1930s, there was a photo of a ghostly monk sighted near here. But even cooler than that was in 2016, video footage was captured of a seemingly ghostly child playing near rubbish bins.
I can't think of any reason why a monk or a young girl would be interested in taking out the trash, but no, there's a local
That was funny.
understood to be
Made sense to me, but
they're there, recognized and familiar to the community. When paranormal things happen in that community, even if it's something like a trash can being taken out, it makes sense for people to connect those two things.
Regardless of which spirit took out her trash, Natasha doesn't mind. Yeah, it's quite exciting. As long as it's just going to do nice things, I'm not too worried about it just yet. But she does have one small request. So we usually get our garbage collected on Friday, so this is on a Saturday it happened. Wherever it was, it would have been handy if they'd done it on Friday instead. Coming up,
all right.
a haunted hotel in Nevada.
Now, to critique this legally, right, I gotta do several things, right? This is paranormal caught on camera. First aired March 5th, 2021. The title is Haunted Goldfield and more. Ghostly guests attack a woman. A take lake monster surfaces in Sweden. So, now legally, if I want to critique this, I got to give a suggestion as to why I think the trash can and how it could do it on its own. And I see only one way: a remote control vehicle under the trash can where you couldn't see it, with how well it navigated between the two cars, right? I don't know if I'm right? Otherwise, it was a ghost and they even captured some kind of silhouette, like in Harry Potter, of what appears to be a child playing in the streets, right? And again, I'm sure they're not Harry Potter type CGI, but there is such a thing as, again, CGI. So again, do you think or agree with me, or do you disagree with me? That's all I can think of that would actually do that with the trash can, right? It has wheels on the back, but not on the front. But if you put a small remote control car of a certain size that fits under it, to move on its own too, right? So, what do you think it is? A ghost? Or a remote control car small enough to fit under it, but you can't see, right? Right? The car itself, or it's under the trash can, right? Which makes more sense, though? To you, even. Now, if you are being attacked by someone daily, and you pass everything up until then, like they did, right? Is it your fault or theirs if they start acting weird towards you and you can't do nothing about it? No matter who it is, no matter who it is, relative or not, right? Whoever this person is, though, they seem to think they know me and they don't, right? They know the evil within them and what they would do, but not within me, because I don't try to do bad things, right? Normally, anyway. If I make a mistake, it's something honest, like, right? Like I told you, like with breaking my sister's leg, I was practicing martial arts outside while I was watching her one summer day between the ages of 16 or 17, right? And she was about 4 or 5 herself when I did so, right? And what I was doing was I was jumping around, jumping forwards and backwards, and I didn't think she would run up behind me, and when she did, I landed on her shin at an odd angle and broke the shin, right? So like I said, when my mom and stepdad got home, I told them what happened right away. I didn't lie about it. I didn't skirt it, right? I just said what happened and why it happened and what I was doing, and, told the truth. And I knew I couldn't hide it because she was crying, right? I accidentally broke her leg, right? So I admitted to it, like George Washington jumping down the cherry tree, I guess, if he really did that or not, right? They were questioning some of that stuff we were told in school. I also read the Gnostic Gospels, and you haven't. And you're prejudiced if you don't, right? You're set in your own ways. Yeah. You don't know what I'm talking about because you won't read it. And I know what they're talking about because I read it in the Old New Testament, and it talks about the same thing the Gnostics are talking about, but in a different way too, right? The Gnostics are actually being more direct in what it is than the Bible itself, but they're not changing what was said. They're explaining it better. But if you don't read it, and I say it's in the Gospels, not the Gospels, right, or Gnostic Bible, which is really what it is, right? That's their Bible. It's like the Apocrypha is a Bible written between Malachi and Jesus that crazy Protestants won't even read, right? Though the Jews celebrate Hanukkah, which is in that book of Maccabees, right? That's where it started from. I know. And even Jesus mentions the Festival of Lights, right? In John. Now, the thing about these voice recorder things. Jeez. Now, this is a thing Jonathan stays in the basement with his spirit box app called a spirit box. Can you speak to me clearly on this? Yes. I just see the shadow. So, how does the spirit box work, right? In the first place? Okay. You see the bat. It's coming through the spirit box, right? And someone knows the bat is in the house somewhere. And then the bat comes flying through the house, right? As the voice box said it would, right? Like I told you when I used the Ouija board, right? With my friends, they said the Ouija board got a lot of things correct as well. And again, it I was looking for a girlfriend, right? And there was this girl named Connie who I kind of liked, but she was dating a guy named Brian, but he cheated on her apparently, right? And the Ouija board told me to go and find her, right? But her brother was also a witness to it, so I don't know what all happened there, but all I remember is I went to find her. I asked her to go to the dance with me, right? And then later on, she got freaked out because the Ouija board told me to go find her, right? And Brian was trying to get up with her again, right? And the question is, why did the Ouija board send me there when it did? Did it know Brian was trying to get back with her and she might well give in, right? I don't know. But it didn't matter anyway, I guess, because I don't remember. She broke off the date, right? She accepted it first, but then broke it off, right? So I just let it go, right? Even though the Ouija board was right? And her brother was there, I don't know nothing else happened with me and Connie, right? Told you that before too, right? But there's something else, right? You're not considering there. It's called a walkie-talkie type thing. Walkie-talkies. See, we had walkie-talkies growing up. What are those, right? They're communication devices. They also had the old tin can. What it is you stretch out this piece of rope, and on each end of the rope is a tin can. And it was theorized that if you spoke in one side, right, the other person can hear it on the other side, your voice traveling through the rope, right? There is someone in the haunted house that knows the bat's in there, even if he didn't, right? But is it a walkie-talkie type thing where a human is telling him, or is it really a ghost? Again, right? Now, they want you to watch this and just believe it without knowing more about how spirit boxes work, right? And of course, you need something, you need to purchase one, get one, and see what they really work like, too. And I can't do all that right now, right? I don't know I'm haunted or not. Like I said, one of the things one of the girls reported is her TV turned on. It even went to a certain channel. Like I told you happened with mine, right? The night before it was on a different channel, even a higher channel. And then it was on two different channels one time, right? And it's certain channel 3 or channel 9, right? And I didn't go to either one. And even when I record or do something else, right? It also don't usually change the channel either, right? But it like if I have a bunch of recordings, it might, right? And what I mean by that is if I record like 3 different shows, because I got 3 different what's called the hopper. And at the same time, I got one in the living room, one in that bedroom, and one in the back bedroom, right? Or the side bedroom, right? And the front, right? Bedroom, right? That's in case I get company or Jonathan that needs a place to stay, which right now is just storage area, right? But of course, if something happens and Jonathan needs a place to stay or something one day, I don't know, right? I of course would let him stay, but he can't crash at Grandma's house, right? Exactly, things like that. But it's just hypothetical anyway, I know. But like I told you, it's not like I'm not trying, right, to deal with what happened to me positively, right? But some things are called a catch-22. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You know what I mean? I can do so much, even with a mental disability versus, right, the physical, right? Because of when I again dealt with each one, right? Which was in 93 and then 94, right? Consecutively behind each other. Now, like I told you, though, I also got my E3 back, which I lost because of watch issues when they never really trained me, right? But when I first got to the ship, right? And they never used me actually to do anything until they were wanting to train others, like I remembered everything they taught me when I didn't, right? Don't you understand what I mean? Right? They didn't really drill me, they didn't really remind me of anything. For the whole 2 years, they had me standing watch. As time goes by, if you don't really do anything down there and you're just sitting down there, right, you might forget again some of the things they taught you. Exactly. Right? But I can follow, like I showed you, basic instructions if I'm giving the full blueprint of what to do, right? Like I told you about my fan in there, or my light, or whatever you want to call it, right? I wired that up around 2017 too, and it's still fine, right? Now I am worried about it because the fan is kind of swinging a little bit, so I just turn on the light for right now. Exactly. I didn't exactly wire it, did do it perfectly like this one, right? But it's similar, but it's also hanging a little low, so I'm trying to be careful with that. Don't want it to collapse on my bed or anything. But the wiring's still holding, but the fan's kind of wobbling, right? So I just quit using the fan. But the light still works, right? And I got another fan in there I use, right? But right now I'm using 2 fans. My thermostat's at 82, right? So I'm going to sweat too. So this is me after going out, taking my neighbor Sarah to Belts, right? Me eating lunch, which was 2 pizza slices from Savero's, right? And after the 2 pizza slices, I went back and waited on Sarah a little bit. Did a little bit of shopping to see if they had any golden belts. But, especially in the ladies section, maybe. Right. And trying to show you their Kurt about his pet. Now, Jesus was called what by the scribes and Pharisees, though? A glutton and a winebibber. Was he not necessarily the Adonis they show on the cross? Maybe. John's talking about seeing mastoids, right, in Revelations, right? And maybe Peter, I think Paul got it, but maybe Peter didn't get it, right? And Paul's having to complain to Peter because he's acting more Gentile than Jewish, right? In Galatians, I think it's chapter 2 or something, right? Yep. And then Peter, when he writes about Paul, says men are wrestling with what Paul said, right? That's both the warning, right, and your problem of what Paul said. Especially when it's talking about the heads and all this, that, and the other, but also about being one and the mediator, and how a mediator is not a mediator of one, but God is one, right? What does that mean, right? And how Adam was taken out of Eve, and Adam also goes through Eve, right, to produce Seth, or Cain and Abel. But you need a sister and a brother to have children. Now, if day 6 they were made in, and chapter 2 talks about day 7, right? Yet it goes back into day 6, the day they were all created, including the animals, including Adam naming the animals before Eve was made. All of them. Do you think this took a short amount of time, more than 24 hours? Which is a day now. Or was it a longer day? Where God made the animals and Adam supposedly last, according to chapter 1, but it deals with him in chapter 2 as if he was made first, right? Kinda. How can he be made both first and last? Is he or someone else both the same image of God? And maybe there's a third person, right, in the garden, right, who's called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The tree of life is trying to teach Adam and Eve how to become one flesh in Eden in day 6 after they're made 2, right? Taking parts of Adam from his side, they think a rib is the bone, but he also took out flesh from him, right? A hermaphrodite has organs down there that would need a 13th rib, because if you got 12 now and you have an extra one, that's 13, right? On both sides, right? Two. You also have what? Ovaries and a fallopian tube, a womb, and a vagina. Right. Now, the Holy of Holies and the holy place are in the tabernacle in the temple. What do you think they represent, right? A woman's womb and vaginal canal. Why, right, do they represent it? When you give birth after the fall, your child is automatically in sin, and they came up with the animal sacrificial system to cover the sins of the child, right? Born to the women, male or female too, right? Now, some sacrifices require males, some either or, some females only, right? Depending on if you're a ruler or a common person, right? And see, the common person could barely afford one lamb or one ewe or one lamb, right? It was rare they would have two, right? So for the common person, they can offer a female instead of a male. They also had to deal with other things like touching something that was unclean or they weren't supposed to touch, right? That had to do with more than washing your hands, right? I know, like a dead body or something that came in contact with a dead body or things like that. See, they didn't know about microbes or diseases or, right, the same way we do now, but they kind of are the first religion to talk about quarantine, especially with leprosy, right? Or touching certain things, which again kind of seems prevalent in the medical world, right? Touch, washing your hands often, is what prevents the spread of diseases, right? Like I told you, whether you think I'm clean, dirty, hygienic, or not, right? I do my best because I'm disabled, right? My injury is in my left ankle and my back anyway, where I hurt the most, right? So I can't run a marathon, but I can walk to the mall, walk to the food court, get me 2 slices of pizza and 2 things of Mountain Dew because you get a refill, and walk back, right? After eating the food, sure. Is that strenuous for anyone? No. But what I can't do, right, is my karate the same, or my running the same, or my bike riding the same, or my walking the same, right, as before I fell. I also, before I joined the Navy, worked a full-time job, a part-time job, was going to school for the Navy, wanted me to do this little program before I got in, right? And I did that, right? Though it had to do with, things you need to do in the real world too, like balance your checkbooks, things like that, right? So again, right, that's also why I can kind of manage money, right? But I'm trying to find something for free, right? The best things in life for free. But they want to keep it for the birds and bees. But they want to take the honey of the bee and make money off the honeybee, but then the bee don't get no money still. Slave owners you are. Slave owners you are. You take the honeybee's product and sell it and make money off of it. What, you give the honeybee a place to live? Just easy. But sometimes you can take something too far. Maybe you have, right? And don't even know what you're doing wrong, right? See, that's called a sin of ignorance, so that usually, for the common person, required a female sacrifice, right? If you read the whole Bible, you would know this, what I'm talking about. Especially the sacrificial system, right? The peace offering could be male or female as well. Things like that, right? Now, like I told you though, there's either a ghost that's so sensitive it knew the bat was in there, or the spirit box is working like a walkie-talkie, right?
I just seen a shadow.
I don't know.
I seen a humanoid shadow. Probably 30 seconds after that, a voice came across and said, "The bat is here." And when it said that, a bat actually flew in to the room, and it scared me. Whoa, jeez.
Coincidence? Right.
So they were obviously warning me about the bat. I'm not sure why, but they did warn me, and it did scare me when it came around the corner and flew in my face.
Did a little bit. Did a little bit.
We have EVP mentioning a bat, and then a bat comes flying down the hallway and is captured on camera. I mean, this is not a coincidence.
But there's 2 people involved at least that you know of, right?
From the bat, Celia
is up in room 109, where a prostitute is said to have died. And it doesn't take long for Celia to have her own distressing experience.
How do I feel right now?
I felt like I was being suffocated.
My back is on fire.
And I felt nauseous and I felt weak.
I need to step outside.
What's wrong?
My back is on fire and I'm actually very nauseous right now and I need to just get some air.
I'm gonna come up there.
Jonathan meets up with Celia to check on her.
Alright. What's wrong? You said your back's burning?
My back is burning.
Let's see. Where's it at? Where at? Dude.
Celia has 2 large scratches on her back.
A lot of the times when people get scratched on investigations, they report that sensation of like burning skin. And it's because the manifestation of energy to human can actually be very painful in an energetic exchange. And so there is a lot of that like energy friction that it feels like lasers on the skin.
I don't like the way I feel. I feel like I have somebody like squeezing me.
Although Celia is feeling uneasy, they carry on with the investigation and move to the 4th floor,
Alright, we're back up here.
where the ghosts of 2 cowboys have been reported, as well as the sound of spurs hitting the floor.
The Cowboys that had a shootout up here. Are you here? The 4th floor for me, the energy was just, it was insane.
Yeah.
The question is this strictly for entertainment purposes? Right. See, they can edit all kind of crap. No, they
Oh, I
can.
just got touched.
But
You just touched her.
I'm taking this personal.
It's not uncommon on an investigation to feel like somebody is touching you. It could mean a lot of different things. It really just depends on the other factors surrounding the touch.
Which arm?
This arm right here, right arm.
Who touched her?
Did you ask for a spirit to make itself known?
Are you
mhm.
here?
If you felt touched then it was basically showing you that.
Well, like I told you, I'm sitting at home all day and I'm gotta entertain myself, right? So I watch shows like this, but that still don't explain my own weird TV experience, right?
I got a lot of energy around me and I'm feeling drained.
During that time, I actually felt a whole lot weaker. Like, I honestly truly thought I was going to collapse. My legs started to shake.
Something's draining me. I can't move.
Yeah, at that point, she said that she couldn't go on, and I made the decision that we needed to go ahead and cut the.
Now this is also
She couldn't stand.
season 4, episode 2. Why does that matter? Well, when you're using something for critique value, like a clip from a show, right? The number of times the show aired, and the percentage you can use to explain your position on the topic, which is Argo's real, I guess. This is called Paranormal Caught on Tape. But they're not like in the movies either, right? So the question is, right? They see triangular light patterns too, like I told you, right? A pyramid, triangle, right? A square, and a circle are the most common patterns, right? In the known universe. And you see it everywhere now, in our buildings, and even Jerusalem, her that is in heaven, and the true mother of us all. So you know our Father who is in heaven, but you forget our mother, Salem, where Melchizedek is from, Jerusalem in Abraham's day wasn't even a spark on the map, right? But there's one Jerusalem where Melchizedek is from, right, that will never be on the map, technically, until the end of the age, right? And the problem is, John talked about 10 days of tribulation. That can be 10 years, even up to 10,000 years, right? Because a day with the Lord is as 1,000 years, right? Too. Mm-hmm. Well, what about something like 1,260 days, right? I don't know what that means, right? They think the earth is older than 16,000 years anyway, I know, right? Or, I'm sorry, 10. Mm-hmm. Or is it 12 by now? It's 12 by now. Because, see, the first 6 days of